right. I mean, if somebody had said to us a couple of days ago that this is extraordinary what happened over the weekend. Suddenly, it appears to be out of nowhere. We have this curious situation where Elon Musk, who was breaking bread with Mr. Farage 3 weeks ago in Florida, is not only saying, I don't support this guy, he's going a little deeper than that by saying he hasn't got what it takes. Let's just have a little listen first to Nigel Farage responding to all of this about Elon, well, responding to Elon's donation, first of all, when he was speaking to Koonsberg on the BBC.
And is his friend, Elon Musk, now your friend, and is he going to give you millions of pounds?
Well, that's a real question, isn't it? Now, forget about the $100 million being talked about in the newspapers.
Are you going to give you money?
That is for the birds.
Is he going to give you money?
He may well do. He may well do. But it's got to be legal. He's got to be comfortable with it. He may well give us money. Whether he does or not, I'll tell you what he gives us. With huge numbers of young people, he makes us look cool.
Is the reason you hope he's going to give you money, is that why you don't want to criticise him?
I think I've made it perfectly clear that I don't agree with everything he stands for. But I do believe in free speech. I think he's a hero, and I said that well before any potential money was offered.
Not long after that interview, Elon Musk said Nigel Farage is not up to the job, Robert. What a curious turn of events. You wouldn't stick this in a Netflix show. It's so bizarre.
You wouldn't. I happened to be on X, just sort of looking at various tweets when that X posting from Elon Musk came through. I couldn't believe it. I just assumed that it must be a sort of parody account that I was looking at, given their love-in over the last 3 weeks. Yeah. But no, it was genuine. It sort of threw a sort of hand grenade into British politics yesterday afternoon. Everyone was suddenly reacting to it, tweeting about it, retweeting it. It was extraordinary and totally, totally unexpected.
Do you think, I mean, is it really over Tommy Robinson? I mean, this is just extraordinary. You know, most people in fact, most people in the country probably don't even know who Tommy Robinson is, but those that follow politics and are aware of the backstory of the guy would be more than a little surprised to think this guy who's currently in clink is being talked about in these conversations. Elon Musk calling for his release. And Nigel Farage, of course, had said on more than one occasion, Richard Tice has echoed it as well, that, you know, Robinson isn't for us, he's not part of our party, although in fairness to Robinson, I don't think he's even asked to be in the Reform Party, but I think he did talk about not dividing the right. So now you've got this curious situation, and the smart money seems to suggest, Robert, that Musk's disposition of, or his change of support for Mr. Farage is based on their differing views of Tommy Robinson. Again, what a stupid sentence that is that I've just uttered. I mean, it's ridiculous, but that appears to be where the issue is.
Yeah, I can't think of it being anything else. And it may be that when Farage said over the weekend that he'd have to go to Trump's inauguration and have a chat with Musk and put Musk right on a couple of issues, it may have felt to Musk that Farage was being slightly patronising in his tone with that. I can't think of anything else, because it was only a couple of weeks ago that someone tweeted, Britain needs reform, and Musk responded with the single word, absolutely. So he was on side for Farage then, but now he's changed his tune altogether. It's most bizarre.
And do you think this has any implication? I mean, there's a lot of, or there's some concern, bearing in mind how close Elon Musk is to Trump, as to whether this has any effect in Mr. Farage's relationship with Mr. Trump.
Well, that's the big question. It's only a couple of weeks away now, isn't it, until the inauguration. And Farage, he can afford to lose Musk. I think you said in your intro, Ian, that he could probably shrug that off, and I agree with you on that one. But Farage certainly cannot afford to lose Trump. So it'd be fascinating to see if this spat over the weekend has any impact on that. I think the jury's out whether this works for Farage and that he's no longer associated with this weirdo, as you described, Musk, but also, you know, he's losing potentially the money.
Yeah.
So it could go either way.
Or as I said as well, I mean, it could be one of those things that in 2 weeks' time, Musk just turns it around again and goes, no, I've changed my mind. I like Nigel now, which I don't know where that leaves us. Interestingly, this has the whole Musk thing, which has kind of come out of nowhere. Implications for a different reason for Sir Keir Starmer. He's accused Elon Musk of spreading lies and being desperate for attention. The war of words over grooming gang scandals has escalated. Let's have a listen to what the Prime Minister said on this morning.
This is the year we roll up our sleeves and reform the NHS. A new era of convenience in care, faster treatment at your fingertips, patients in control, an NHS fit for the future.
There it is. That clearly was the wrong clip, Robert. This, however, is... we'll come to that clip later. This, however, I'm told, is the right clip.
Those that are spreading lies and misinformation as far and as wide as possible, they're not interested in victims. They're interested in themselves. Those who are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, not interested in justice. They're supporting a man who went to prison for nearly collapsing a grooming case, a gang grooming case. These are people who are trying to get some kind of vicarious thrill from street violence that people like Tommy Robinson promote. And those attacking Jess Phillips, who I'm proud to call a colleague and a friend, not protecting victims. Jess Phillips has done 1,000 times more than they've even dreamt about when it comes to protecting victims of sexual abuse throughout her entire career.
Well, there's a lot in that. I mean, I very rarely agree with Keir Starmer. I think some of what he said is not unreasonable, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm like you, very rarely defend Keir Starmer, quite the opposite. But I was almost cheering him on with that sentiment. I don't think British people like having powerful foreigners getting in the way in British politics. We didn't like it with Barack Obama when he talked about Britain being at the back of the queue for a deal with America. We didn't like that. We don't like it when rich, powerful foreigners get involved. We don't like it, really. Most of us don't like it when Musk gets involved, even if we don't like Keir Starmer. I do think, however, Ian, that Starmer has invited more criticism from Musk by doing that. It's a brave thing to do. And I think Starmer was wrong to say later that those who are asking for an inquiry into the awful events in Oldham, the grooming scandal, are, I quote, jumping on a bandwagon of the far right. We're not far right if we're worried about what's happening in Oldham. So he got that bit horribly wrong.
Yeah, and that has been the problem, I think, with it, because it's not in their... I don't know, it's not in their DNA, I don't sense, when it comes to the grooming gangs, and because of the obvious underpinning commonality of those specific crimes. I think Labour members and MPs and those on the left just find it intrinsically difficult to get animated about that for one good reason, that they don't want to be seen to get involved in a discussion where either race or nationality or culture or religion is central to the discussion.
Yes, and that is, of course, inexcusable, and that is why a lot of people, myself included, would love to see another national inquiry into what happened in Oldham and why these people are allowed to get away with it, and why those in power seem to have facilitated that horrible crime. We've got to surely get to the bottom of that. If that means another national inquiry, let's have it.
Yeah. Robert, stay with us. Robert Taylor is with us, the political commentator.